Hello, my friends. How are you? Hi, my name is Natasha. I am the creator and the founder of the Glow Up Method. I am so excited to be here with you today. Today is a Monday. First off, I love getting my crap together on a Monday. There's just something about it. I'm always start that diet on Monday. Oh, we're going to do this new lifestyle change Monday. And so for many years, if Tuesday came and I hadn't remembered to start this new activity on Monday, well, we just have to wait till next Monday to start the diet. So I'd overindulge and, one thing led to another, led to one Monday to another, and nothing got started. But now I absolutely adore Mondays because they are so motivational. Mondays are for mom. I know I had self-care yesterday, but Mondays are for mom because a lot of the times on a Monday, I don't have a gym scheduled. I don't have a lot of mom things. I do have a lot of more free time, I would say, a lot more flexibility, but not where other people are busy in my life, and so I don't fill it with their crap. Instead, it's just a motivational Monday for me. And so I really actually look forward to my Mondays. I mean, obviously I'll take my self-care Sundays and whatever else other days, but there's just something magical about a Monday for me. And so this morning, this morning started last night at, once it hit midnight, I was I'm supposed to wake up at 7, and I got knee deep into a project that was anticipated. It said, this will take you 4 minutes. It took me over an hour and 4 minutes, let me tell you, because, I just take life a little serious sometimes. And these were really important kind of questions that deserved more than just a minute of my time each. And so I really dove into it, and I was tired, and I probably would have done better had I decided to do it yesterday, but I'm a stubborn little brat sometimes. And I'm no, there is the deadline. I need to get it done by today. And, I'm thinking in my head, here is where I got here. It wasn't a bad situation, but it's just, you did not prioritize yourself. You prioritized cooking and cleaning and family time, and all of that is okay. But the result of that is you had very limited time, and you got the leftovers. You got the sloppy seconds, you got whatever was left. And now you get a version of Natasha that's really tired, that really wants to, close her eyes and go to sleep. And this is who's showing up right now. And so it took me probably longer than it would have took had I just wrote it this morning. But it was a lesson for me to say, wait a minute, you are an equal too. You are of value too. So it really was this catalyst for so much more, which I'm so excited to share. So I ended up saying, okay, I had originally set my alarm for 7 a.m., but as I looked at the clock and it was past 1 in the morning, I was mathematically thinking, okay, if on the best case scenario, here's how many hours of sleep I'm going to get. And this is anticipating that I don't wake up to go to the bathroom or, to roll over or whatever other stuff. And I really had to sit there, and it was I put it in my calendar at 7. And, so I have that. But then I also had to say, wait a minute, let's do a quick inventory of your body. Do you think that you will be the best version of you tomorrow if you wake up after having this much sleep? If the answer is yes, please proceed and go at 7. If you think that an extra 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, or even an hour would behoove you, would really set you up for the optimal success. I know this wasn't the plan, but perhaps here is a place where we can make an adjustment, understand with compassion that we are setting up a new system for success. I am not setting Natasha up for failure. I do not want Natasha to wake up at 7 and feel groggy and resentful that she's not in her cozy bed anymore. I just want Natasha to take action. And so I'm referring to myself in the third party, but I'm trying to break this down. Here's the mental conversation that goes on, because it's okay. The previous version, my default setting, my pre-programmed in, mechanisms were no, you You said you were going to wake up at 7. So now you must wake up at 7. No questions asked, no compassion, no anything. The fact that you're even asking is, wrong. So it's like, it's really like reaching a place where you have this, for a lesson being like, I'm not having conversations in my head, but really in a way it is, because, it's the conversations now are conversations. It is not a monologue of me telling myself all the reasons why, I'm not good enough and I shouldn't have done this and it's your fault we're in this position. Like, listen, there's no time for that. Like, why are we wasting time on that? Let's get to the solution. Let's get to the problem. And so I felt really comfortable saying, okay, you know what? I am going to push it back to 8 o'clock. I'm going to do my 8 o'clock wake up today. The goal is to eventually be up at 7, and hopefully over time that I'm going to love my 7 so much it may turn to 6 or 5 or even 4. Who knows? But for right now, 7 is what my goal is. And I get it. Today I'm not going to reach my goal. I'm going to do it 8. But if my body holistically just naturally wakes up at 7, hey, I'm all for it. But I'm going to have the intention of 8 o'clock and get right out of bed and get going. And you guys, you wouldn't believe this. For the first time, and I don't even know how long, I slept through the night. I was like, wait, what a minute. And next thing you know, my alarm was going off. I literally sprung out of bed. I felt re-energized. I felt motivated. I knew what the plan was. The plan was not to grab my phone and surf, my email and my texts and Facebook and LinkedIn and, whatever other website that came or I was now led to, whatever other rabbit hole. I was getting up and I was getting going. And now I treated this hour as this borrowed time. It was this thing that never was supposed to be in some senses. So I think about that a lot because after I witnessed Bradley, so he didn't die immediately after. He died about a week after his heart surgery. So it was while we were still there that he was having a lot of complications post-op. And eventually they were so severe that literally his heart had stopped. And not like he was on bypass, like it had stopped during his surgery, right? Because you have a machine that's still pumping blood. No, like he was flatlined for minutes. It felt like hours, but it was minutes. And so, watching that scene, watching the doctors run in, listening to the sounds of the codes that are being yelled that you don't, not yelled, but, urgently said over the, loudspeaker, watching doctors flood into room, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 10, just an entire hospital room filled with people, technicians, nurses, doctors, anybody. And I'm just slowly backing away for my child who is, about this big, who is being like seriously tended to. You have like the little, I don't even know what their defibrillator things. I didn't know they came this small. They come extremely small for this little 5-pound body at this time. So every day since that day, like I sat there and I was watching the monitor with the flat line. You hear that sound. You're experiencing this, right? And everything is in slow motion. And everything that I had at this point, he was a little bit over 4 months old. Every moment that I had got to spend with him in those 4 months was flashing through my mind in a very slow, methodical thing as this, you hear this flatline going on and the sounds of all the doctors, push this, push that, do this. And it's surreal. And you're grateful for the experience, but I'm also, I was mad in that second because I was like, how dare there be a world where this child just comes in just to be tortured? And it just seemed so cruel in that second. And I was so grateful for like every minute where he just gazed into my eyes or he had held my finger. So I was so also appreciative and loving. And then I was also like just praying to God, to the universe, to whoever. I'll pray to you. I'll pray to any God, anybody. Like, can you hear me, please? Like, I don't want to be silent. Can you hear me? Please help him. Take me, do something, like help him. He's been through enough. And so you're sitting there, you're pleading, you're doing everything, and you're confused. Like, how is this happening? And then the beep, 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 beep. He was back. He came back like somebody heard me. And I know that's not what happened. But in that second, it felt like I wasn't alone, and someone heard and someone said, okay, like, we're going to give him another chance. Or he fought. I don't know what happened in those minutes. I don't know where he went. And I don't know where he was, but I know he came back. And I'm so grateful for that. And it feels like when I was sitting there and when I got to finally hold him again, because of course you can't, right? Like, there's all these things on him now again, and I just gotta like go and rub and touch like his hand and his arms and anything, like, and I'm scared, right? I'm a 23-year-old young girl and I'm in there alone besides like the doctors. And I have even the nurses are now crying afterwards, and they're coming up and giving me hugs. Like, I am understanding how serious this was, and I understand like how close I was to losing him. And I say all that to say, not to sit here and cry, because that wasn't like the whole point of it all. But the point of it all is it was like borrowed time. Like, I had this like thought that came in my mind sitting there, that like every moment with him forward was borrowed time. And in some realm and in some way, it may or may not have happened. My gosh, I gave myself a headache from crying. Pardon me. But here we are with this bonus borrowed time. Like, I am playing, like they say, like when you go to Vegas or whatever, I'm playing with the house's money. Like, this was a bonus. This was perhaps not how his story was supposed to go, but it is, and it's unfolding. So I'm just gonna really cherish and embrace every second with this human being. And kind of how like I felt that similar experience this morning. So I had this bonus time, this hour that was dedicated to me. It was for me. It was in order to set myself up for success. It wasn't about doing something for somebody else. It wasn't consuming somebody else's, knowledge or wisdom or data or whatever it is. It was about Natasha. And so when I got up this morning, it was very intentional. And I went through and I did my things, but it was so different. I had this different approach to it. It wasn't, even though I was doing the same things I do every day, it wasn't in this effort with this hurried intention to hurry up and get through to get to the next thing, because I had time. I could relax and enjoy the process. It wasn't just to quick it off. Here's my daily do list. Okay, I dry brushed. Okay, I brushed my teeth with my left hand. Okay, I took my cold shower for my daily dose of dysregulation. Okay, on to the next thing. No, I literally took my time dry brushing. I felt the bristle of each of the needles go up my body. I took my time. It wasn't like, hurry, got to get in the shower, got to get in this, it was very intentional. It was very nurturing, and it was very loving. And I took my time and I enjoyed it. I got in the shower and I was like, okay, I think I can even go a little bit colder. I think I can challenge myself to go a little colder. And I think I can challenge myself to go a little longer, because I had the time. I wasn't like, oh no, I got to get to this class. I got to get this person to school. I got to get to this appointment. No, it was about me. I had carved out this section of my day, of my time for me, when I'm a morning person by nature, am the freshest. Like, that is when I'm the most alert. Like, even recently, Dylan was just saying, oh, you're a different person in the nighttime. Like, you're a different thing. And I can tell my energy is different. My thought process, like, I learn so much that like I get fatigue. I put myself through 20,000 steps a day on average. I am physically taxed. Like, these again are all my choices that I've slowly worked up to. And, I'm not saying that's what you have to do. This is just what I am choosing to do today. And I had this whole thought, every day we are reborn. So I asked Echo, I was like, how many days has it been since my birthday? You know, that was since the day I was born. And I think it was like 17,398. I could be like transversing the last three numbers somewhere in there. But I was like, okay, so this is my 17,398th time being born. And today, like, I set myself up. I like started thinking, I was like, I did things today that future me is gonna be so dang proud of. Like, she's gonna be like reflecting back on how, like, I was like, yeah, one day, and that one day suddenly was my 17,398th day of being alive. And I just thought it was like this cool whole full circle moment that hasn't really happened, but I know will, because I've been this version of me looking back at the other versions of me. You know, like I said, I now have a photo hanging in my room. Like before, it was like this shameful thing on the phone, like, you know, who I was and how large I had ballooned into, like that 300-pound version of me. I kept her in the dark. I hid her away. I was ashamed of her. I wore black. I wanted to hide. I spoke very badly to her, and now I hang her on the wall. And like I said, I've had kids come in and be like, why is this hanging on the wall? And I was like, because that is me. That is a part of who I am, and I am not ashamed of her. I am not throwing her in a closet or throwing her photos away or deleting them and showing only the pretty parts of me. No, that is a part of me. And that girl, of all the girls and of all the versions I am of me, had the dang courage, because there's not a lot of photos of me of that size that is not like had kids strategically put in front of her or something in front of her, right? So there aren't a whole lot of photos of me at that size. But that girl not only had the courage to get in front of the camera, she had the courage to pull down her shorts and pull up her shirt and show everything she tried to hide away, showed all her vulnerabilities, everything that scared her. And she took a picture. And I'm so proud of her, because not only did she take a picture, she's the one who started this transformation. She is the one who had the idea and had that choice and said, no, I don't care if today's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. We are starting today. And I don't care if it's 8 a.m. or if it's 8 p.m. We are starting now. Now. And that's what that girl did. And as a result of her choice, and I point to her because she's hanging over there, but as a result of her choices, her decision, her courage, this version, this 17,398th day born again woman of me, gets to sit here in front of you and share this miraculous journey. And I just think that's incredible. So again, back to this morning, I was able to not only do what I wanted to do, but I brought to it an entirely different intention. And when I first started, I came in after my shower, and I took my time moisturizing my face. I made sure I did my little bit of face rolling, because I ate a lot of sodium and a lot of sweets this week, and my face was super puffy. And I didn't say that to be mean or be like, oh, you need to change this. But it was like, hey, notice beyond what you feel in your satisfaction of your taste buds, like what you are putting in your mouth does have an effect. And that's okay. It's up to you to decide, am I okay with the ramifications of this? Or should I make some adjustments? Again, that's on me. That's my choice. But here, it's just nice to call it out and be like, hey, you had a good time this weekend. You ate a lot of these things, and here is the aftermath. And when I can sometimes see something and I'm like, oh, okay, let's make some adjustments. Okay. Like I don't have to overindulge, which again, set me on this whole thing. So I'm sitting there and I'm moisturizing and I'm doing my face rolling, which again, have been one of those habits that I'm like, oh, I'm going to incorporate. And I had it primed out. It was hanging on my wall. I was doing so good. And I removed it from the wall. I was still doing so good. But then I took my son to Las Vegas for his soccer tournament, and it dropped me out of my whole system. Systems fell apart. And as soon as I was playing catch up for so long, I had that job interview. I had all these things compound at one time that I just couldn't get my steam back together at doing some of the newly incorporated daily do's, such as the face rolling, such as the scalp massaging, such as the meditating. And it was like those had all come in at the same time. And so they all ended up like somehow they were all paired together and they all ended up leaving at the same time. And then as soon as I would think like, oh, here I'm getting this, I'd have this other obstacle. And then my son had surgery and then he got hurt, and, like PT and all, there was all these other external forces that, forced me to kind of make choices with my time. And I would either A, forget about doing these new things, B, was just like, it's just, something's got to give. Here's where it's got to get. Like, so anyways, I wasn't doing them. But then it was like, we're starting meditation today. And so I go into my meditation pose and I'm like, okay, trying to decide how long I wanted to do. And I was like, 10 minutes. Like, I want 10 minutes. And then I was like, you know what? We are restarting. I know where you've been, but we are restarting a habit. And I want to set myself up for success. I don't want to sit here and, put on these rules where it's like all of a sudden, like if I stopped walking, let's say if I stopped walking, I had an injury. And I had to scale it back. And maybe I was like my son right now, right? Where you're partially immobile, right? I would have to scale it back. And in that situation, just because I begin to have my opportunity to walk again, I'm not going to be at a 20,000 step level, right? Like you can't go from 0 to 100 real quick all the time and expect to not fail. So, or have pain or harm yourself. And so I'm trying to create this inclusive environment that facilitates change. And so I say, no, we're going to do 5 minutes. And, it's like a little kid. I'm negotiating with myself over here. And so I do the 5 minutes and I love it. I am like, wow, like, how did I let this go? And I want more, right? Like I want more. Let's do 5 minutes more. This was so good. I love it. And I had to say no. And the reason wasn't because I didn't think I needed 5 more minutes of meditation. No, it's because I am trying to establish a healthy habit. I don't want to get into this gluttonous, routine and cycle, which I'm often part of. So I started thinking, I was like, okay, like, why is it when I am doing something I really like or I am really enjoying, I want more and more and more? And I started thinking, okay, like let's take 3 areas like that pop in mind really quick. And I started thinking about my sweet tooth and my obsession with sweets. I start thinking about my tendency to go on Facebook or, what other modality and, find these forms of community I was either accepted into or, became a part of because I'm a mom or because I'm a mom of, an injured thing or because I'm a business owner or because I share the same kind of passion for succulents or whatever. So I have this community. And then I also have this tendency to give up more and more when it comes to family and children. And so I thought it was so fascinating to kind of have this breakthrough and breakdown. And I really went into those 3 subjects. I'm not going to have enough time to really dive into it today. Perhaps I'll get into it again tomorrow. But it was so beautiful to have this time because, again, I made the choice to focus on me. So within that hour, within that borrowed time, I was able to then, after the meditation, I was going to begin working on these projects. And I was going to begin listening to webinars. I was going to listen to my other things I'm supposed to be listening to. I was going to read some of this stuff from this book. And I realized all of a sudden I was so ready to just consume everybody else's knowledge. I was ready to, in a sense, live their life or like a version of their life. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that today. Today, I'm going to get up from just taking care of myself, making myself feel loved and supported and good and healthy and nurtured. And I'm going to give the best version of me to myself. I'm not going to wait until 11:30 at night to do my filming or to rush in my steps or to do all the things that I need to do for me. I'm going to give the best version of myself to me today. And sometimes that's not always going to be possible, right? I'm still a mom. I'm still a business owner. I'm still a lot of, I wear a lot of different hats like many of you out there. But today, I am really going to prioritize making sure that I am an equal too. And I think for so long, I did not feel like I was an equal. I felt like everybody else was more worthy, superior, more deserving of my energy, of the best of me than I was. And so I was able to this morning, finally, when I was done with the meditation, I began my running and my writing. And let's tell you what I did. I did 18,000 steps this morning. I wrote for that entire time. The only reason I stopped when I did stop was, of course, my motherly duties had to resume. My son had to go. He's doing homeschool right now, Tyler, because of his knee injury, and he needs help getting his bed set up and, everything in order to be in the school mode. He can't pick up and do all the things that he needs to do. So my motherly duties called me, but that's okay. It was about when I was anticipating stopping anyways. But my gluttonous ways were so like just so loving that all I had done, that there was this little piece of me was like, I should have woke up at 7, because if I've gotten all this done, can you imagine if I had another hour? And I need to tell myself, like, no, calm down. Like, if you would have got up at 7, you may have been too exhausted. You may have been too tired to actually do what you did. You listen to your body. You listen to your mind. We are working in conjunction together. We are not working against each other. We are conspiring with one another to make this the best version of us possible, because there's many aspects to me. And so I was able to get so much writing done. I was able to make so many breakthroughs, and I was able to reserve the best of me for me, and now have this reinvigoration of energy that has come as a result of it. It's not me starving in the corner waiting for a little piece of whatever is left over. It's me saying, no, you can come and you're worthy of taking what you want and what you need from this life. And so that's what I did. And I'm here. I've got my steps done. I've got my writing done. I'm filming. And it's not an effort to be like, let me check these things off the list. It's I am coming to these situations with so much power and energy. And I'm saying all this not to be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm saying this to show you, so can you. We are all on borrowed time. We are all so lucky to have woken up. For me, this is my 17,398th hashtag, I don't remember what the number was exactly, but let's say that's what it is. Time waking up, right? That is, I get to be born, and I'm learning new tools and strategies in order to make that, 34,000th version of me even more magnificent. And it's taken so long to find my voice, but now I am so glad it is here. And to have this opportunity to discover and immerse myself in new situations has been so profoundly changing. I am changing my paradigm. I am understanding that my desires to overindulge in things that feel good comes from a place of lack. Like, I was so worried that because as a child, I wasn't allowed to eat. So when I was storing up for winter. Like, I'm not a mama bear about to go hibernate. I am a mama bear who is about to go and glow up, right? Like, let's freaking glow, girls. Like, I am not in deprivation. There are sweets. I don't have to hoard them. I don't have to check eating the sweet off the list. When I first began my journey, was somewhere in those earlier days, I remember saying, okay, I can still have my chocolate, but I think it was either 1, 2, or 3 of these little chocolate Seas balls. I loved them. They were delicious. I still love them, right? But I then began, once I was getting comfortable with my appearance and getting comfortable in the situation, I changed to have more, and I can eat what I want and do what I want. Like, there was nobody going to tell me this. Like, growing up, I was told I wasn't allowed to eat this. If I ate this, it meant I was fat. If I ate this, it meant I was ugly. If I ate this, and now I'm like, no, I'm not. See, I can eat this, and I'm not these things. So it's like, there's this defiance. There's this not wanting to be controlled and told that I can and can't eat anything. And so but what I've lost in that process is enjoying it. Like when I knew there was only 3 to be eaten or 1 to be eaten, I would put it in my mouth. I would close my eyes. I would let it melt. I would really savor the flavors and appreciate what I had instead of looking for more, instead of wanting more. And so I think that that is the lesson for me today is it's not about having more. It's about enjoying the process. It's about enjoying what you have and being able to enjoy a lot of different things in small doses. It's not about overly exercising or overly eating or overly, being into your children's lives or overly being in community. It's working in unison together. And if I'm doing so much of one thing, I'm then choosing to say no to something else. And so I know it is enjoyable. And I know I love the meditating. And I'm not saying I can't meditate anymore. I just can't meditate right now. And this is the time to meditate. And this is how many minutes we decided. And then we're going to go on and do other things. And yes, life is flexible, especially somebody like me who has prided herself on having the mental and emotional and sometimes the flexibility of a contortionist. Like I need to understand and establish boundaries within myself so that I don't just find myself doing what I love. And that's fine, right? Like it's good to do what you love, but there has to be a form of balance within there. Otherwise, I find myself in this situation where there's a long list of things to do that just they don't happen because I am overindulging in certain behaviors that are great and they're fine and they're giving me a lovely life. Like there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing bad, but to be the best version of me, I need to be able to be more diversified and more willing to limit certain things at certain times. And like I said, if you want to meditate more tonight before bed or tonight when you've got your things done, have at it. Do a 10-hour meditation if you have it, like there isn't like I can't do it, which is which really works for me. Like the food, it's not that you can't eat, Natasha, it's you're choosing to not eat within this window of time. And, here are the things. So I say all that to say, I really hope that today you find and carve out some time for you. And whether it be you're just using that time to plan what you're going to do tomorrow, you don't have to wait till Mondays like I do. You could do any day of the week, any time of the week. It doesn't need to be the morning. It doesn't have to be the night. But maybe you're carving out of your time today is going to be to make a plan to wake up 5 or 10 minutes earlier so that you can start your day in a way that sets you up for success. Now, it's not for me to define. For me, it was an hour today. For me, it still didn't feel quite enough because I wanted more, but I realized if I would just shift my mindset and just be in that moment of enjoying what I am doing instead of wanting more of it, then I am able to accomplish so much more with the same amount of time and feel amazing about it, which is even better because a lot of it is the intention and the energy we bring in it. I'm not doing these things just so I can check it off. And at the end of the year, I'm going to have, 365 stars that I can trade in for a cool sticker. Like when I was a little kid at school. No, it's about enjoying the process. And this is what I have to remind myself because just much like I threw away the scale once I hit the 120 pounds, it's not about the number on the scale. It is about the journey. It is about the choices and the sacrifices and the commitments and the consistency and the small micro habits that we create time and time again, making this confidence and this courage and this knowing that we can change, that we can evolve, and that we can achieve things that we set our mind to. Like today, not a problem. Brushed my teeth with my left hand. I'm not saying it will always be that way. I'm not saying that when I go brush my teeth later today, it will be that way. But today I was able to do that again. And I've primed my condition. I've set it out. I'm practicing, which is making it all easier, which is giving me the courage to say, if I can brush my teeth with my left hand, what other things can I do? And it's a small thing. And so I like to bring that up because it's something that's very doable. And if you're left-handed, no, you don't get the out. You need to go use your right hand. And heck, if you don't have hands, when you use your left foot all the time and instead of your left, like, I don't know what you would do, right? Like if you use I don't know what it is. Okay. I only know what my own experience is, but whatever it is you do, if there is a way to change it, if there is a way to like look at things differently from somebody else's eyes, do it. Try it. Like you're worth it. You deserve it. You are an equal. You deserve to give the best parts of you to you too. So I say all that to say, thank you so much for tuning in. I wish I could be here for hours, but you know I'm gluttonous and I would do it. And I know really to just give you what you need. This is what I need to do and this is what I can offer. So thank you so much for tuning in. I am so proud of you. I adore you. Please keep making these small changes. Celebrate your changes here. Like, let's share. I love it. You continue to glow up. I love it. And if you could just do me one favor, please go out there today, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. So thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Mwah. Bye.